Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn about electric field due to linear charge distribution. Then, in different special cases, like when we have linear charge distribution, but the wire is infinitely long or it is semi-infinite, in all these cases, what will be the electric field that we will see, and some questions on that. After that, we will see electric field lines and their properties. It is very important. You can expect direct questions on electric field lines and their properties. So let us start. First recap what we have studied till now. In starting we had seen properties of electric charge, then we had seen Coulomb's law, then superposition principle, electric field, and then electric field superposition principle means if we have more than two charges are there, then we want to find net electric field. How we can find? By using superposition principle, right? Now, next is we are seeing the electric field due to continuous charge bodies. In that we will continue. And next is electric field due to uniformly charged straight wire. So suppose if we have one straight wire having charge density as, let us say, lambda coulomb per meter, and we want to find electric field at a point, let us say this point is P, which is at a distance d from the wire. If I draw perpendicular from this point P, suppose for example this is one wire. Now at a distance d from this wire, this is point P, here we want to find electric field, right? And this point, if we draw the perpendicular from wire on this point, so this one end of the wire that makes angle theta 1 and the lower end of wire that makes angle of, let us say, theta 2. So this will be given in the question. Now we have to find electric field at point P, right? So what are our approach? How to solve? So we know that when we have uniformly charged wire or uniformly charged bodies, so we can take a small element. So in this case, let us say we take one small element which is at a angle of theta, and the length of this element is dy. So we consider one element at a distance y from this perpendicular line which is at angle theta, and the thickness of this element is y. So from this triangle, can I say that if you consider this triangle having angle at theta, so can I say from this triangle that tan theta will be how much? So tan theta will be equals to perpendicular, that is y upon d. So from here can I say that y will be equals to d tan theta, right? Now if I differentiate this with respect to theta, so can I say that dy by, we will need this, that's why we are doing. So dy by d theta, that will be equals to, d is constant here, tan theta will become equals to what? Sec square theta, right? So let us keep in mind this term. Now due to this element we want to find electric field. So can I say that first of all dq will be how much? Dq will be equals to lambda times dy, and from here we got dy. So dy is how much? D sec square theta d theta, right? So now we want to find electric field due to this element. So we can write dE, that will be equals to k dq divided by r square. So just put the values. So k dq is how much? Dq is lambda dy. So k lambda we can take out, and d sec square theta d theta divided by r square. Now problem here is if we consider this a small element, so due to this element this distance was r, but as we move on the wire this r will be changing, right? So we have to convert r also in terms of theta. So if you consider this, can I say that r will be equals to d sec theta? Yes or no? From this triangle again, r will be equals to d sec theta, or if you have confusion, we can say that d will be equals to r cos theta, right? So r will be equals to d by cos theta, that is nothing but d sec theta. So we can put the value here. Till this point, any doubt? First we consider one small element. Due to that element we can find electric field, and here we have two variables y and theta, and R three variables. So we want to convert them in terms of one variable. D is given to us so that we can solve, right? Simple. Just after watching this, try to do by yourself. It's very simple and it is important for board exam also. They can ask to find electric field due to uniformly charged straight wire. Okay. So now we can say that we have dE, just put the values. So that will be equals to k lambda d sec square theta d theta divided by r square. R is how much? R is d sec theta. So d square sec square theta. Simple. So now here we can simplify. So 1d and the square we can cancel. D square theta and sec square theta we can cancel. So now we are left with dE, that will be equals to k lambda by d into d theta. Is this term clear? Up to this point, clear to everyone? Now, next part is, we know that due to this element, electric field will be along the line joining. So in this direction. So now again we can break this in two parts. One is component of electric field which is perpendicular to the length of wire. Another one which is parallel to the length of the wire. So DE parallel and DE perpendicular. And now we can simplify. So same thing here given. So y have we can say that y equals to d tan theta, then dy by d theta is d sec square theta, and now we can write dq, that is equals to lambda dy. From here we can put the value of dy, and d is k dq by r square. So we can simplify. So we are having d, that is equals to k lambda by d into d theta, right? So now we want to find E parallel and E perpendicular. So that will be how much? So E parallel is integration of dE cos theta and E perpendicular parallel is dE sin theta, right? So let us do. So we have E perpendicular, that is equals to integration of dE, this term dE cos theta, right? And we had dE, that is how much? We had dE, that was equals to how much? dE is equals to k lambda by d into d theta, right? So put the values here. So now we will have k lambda by d is constant, so we can take it out, and we have cos theta d theta. Now limit will be from where to where? So see here, from here now if I rotate in clockwise direction, so angle is theta 1, and if I rotate in anti-clockwise direction, the angle is theta 2. So can I say that minus theta 1 below line we have to move, so minus theta 2 to theta 1, yes or no? So minus theta 2 to theta 1. So its integration we can write. So we will have k lambda by d, integration of cos theta is what? Sin theta. So sin theta minus theta 2 to theta 1. So this will become equals to how much? E perpendicular, that will be equals to k lambda by d into sin theta minus of sin minus theta 2, right? And we know that sine minus theta is minus sine theta. So we can write it as k lambda by d sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2. So this is the electric field's perpendicular component, or the component of electric field which is perpendicular to the wire. Very important formula. Similarly, we can write for E parallel. So we have E parallel, that will be equals to integration of dE sin theta. So again put the value. So it will be equals to k lambda by d, we can take outside. So we have to write integration of sin theta d theta. Again from where to where? From theta 2 to theta 1, right? Now integration of sin theta is minus cos theta, right? Hope all of you know now these things. So k lambda by d, and we have now minus cos theta from theta 1, sorry, minus theta 2 to theta 1, right? So now when we put the value minus theta 2, so First of all, cos theta 1 that will be minus, and minus of cos theta 2. So we can write, if you remove change the limit, we can remove this minus sign. So we have E parallel that will be equals to k lambda by d cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Simple, easy. Cos plus theta or minus theta is cos theta only, right? So it will be cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. That is the component of electric field which is parallel to the wire, right? Clear to everyone? All of you? Very simple, very easy. Now, so E perpendicular and E parallel we can find. So whenever we have uniformly charged wire, so we will have two components of electric field. One is electric field which is perpendicular to the wire. Another one is electric field that is parallel to the wire. And we can simplify them, right? Just remember sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2, and we can say that sine theta is what component which is perpendicular normally. So we can relate that k lambda by d is the electric field when we talk about perpendicular component. So whenever we have any vector, we want to take perpendicular component, that is sine theta, and we want along the vector or parallel, that is cos theta. Like this we can relate, right? Hope it is clear to everyone. Now, so here what is d? D is the perpendicular distance of the given point from the wire. Theta 1 and theta 2 are measured from the perpendicular lines in opposite direction. Means suppose this is the wire, from this point P we want to find the electric field. So theta 1 and theta 2 we measure from this perpendicular line to the end of the wire. So this is theta 2, this is theta 1. In some books they use alpha, beta, whatever you want you can use, not an issue, right? What is lambda? Lambda is the linear charge density of the straight wire. Simple. Now, there are some special cases of a uniformly charged wire. So, let us see one by one. First special case is electric field due to a semi-infinite uniformly charged straight wire. So, if we have a straight wire which is semi-infinite, so due to that, what will be the electric field, right? So here we considered one wire having charge density as lambda coulomb per meter. When we say semi-infinite, what does this mean? Semi-infinite means what? Semi-infinite means we know the one end of the rod, but we don't know the another end of rod. Suppose this is one rod, and at this point we want to find electric field. So from this end it is very close, but from another end it is very far away. So we can consider this as what? Semi-infinite wire. Length of the wire is very large compared to separation of the point from the wire, and one end is known or closer to the point. Simple, right? So when we say semi-infinite wire, see here, if this is one wire and at this point, suppose this point we want to find the electric field. So if I consider theta 1 and theta 2, so this is, let us say, theta 1. Now as length of wire is getting increased, so this theta 1 will keep on increasing, yes or no? If it is more, so it will keep on increasing. So if it is infinite, so we can say that this line will meet at infinite. So this length will angle will be how much? Approximately 90 degree, right? And another end if it is in front of, so angle will be 0. So semi-infinite wire is a special case of finite straight wire with theta 1 will be 90 degree and theta 2 is 0 degree. So now we had the formula E perpendicular, that is equals to k lambda by d sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2, and E parallel was k lambda by d cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. So now just put the values and we can simplify. So sine 90 is how much? 1, and sine 0 is 0. So E perpendicular, that will become how much? K lambda by d. And when we talk about K parallel, so cos theta 2 cos 0 is how much? 1, and cos 90 is how much? 0. So it will also equal to how much? K lambda by d. So we can say magnitude of electric field perpendicular and parallel, that is k lambda by 2. So net will be how much? Root 2 k lambda by d, right? So both components are equal. So we can write E net is root under E parallel square plus E perpendicular square. Both are equal. So it will be how much? Root 2 k lambda by d. Clear? If it is positive charge, direction of electric field is away from charge. Suppose if it was negative charge, then it will be opposite direction or negative, right? Now, next is electric field due to infinite long uniformly charged straight wire. So now if wire is uniform and straight infinite, so both angle will become how much? 90 degree, right? So just we have to put the values. So again we consider one wire having length as lambda, charge density is lambda coulomb per meter. So infinite wire is a special case of finite straight wire with theta 1 is 90 degree and theta 2 is also 90 degree. So sin 90 plus sin 90 is 1 plus 1 2. So E perpendicular will be how much? 2k lambda by d. When we talk about E parallel, so that is k lambda by d cos 90 plus minus cos 90, so 0. So E parallel is how much? 0. And it is obvious also. See, if we have one wire and half part above, half part below, so their components in vertical direction that will get cancelled and only horizontal component will stay, right? So we can simplify. So we can write E that will be equals to 2k lambda by d for infinite wire. Now again when we study Gauss law, in that case again these things we will discuss and we'll see. Now let us solve one question. So whenever we have a question, all of you, one request is please pause the screen and try to solve by yourself. Suppose you are able to solve by maximum 2 or 3 steps, that is okay. Then you can continue and then you can see that whether you got stuck or what was the point where you are not able to clarify, and then you can easily learn the things, right? So question says that figure shows a square made of thin wire of side L in which the four sides are charged with uniformly linear charge density lambda, minus 3 lambda, 2 lambda and 4 lambda respectively. So find the resultant electric field strength at the center of the square. So at this point we want to find resultant electric field. Okay. Okay. So let us see what we have to do. So we have formula E perpendicular that is equals to k lambda by d. When we write perpendicular, so sin theta. So sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. When we write E parallel, so that will be equals to how much? K lambda by d cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Now, here we have four wires. So, can I consider, let us say this is first wire, this is second wire, this is third wire, this is fourth wire. Due to all these individual wire, can I write electric field, right? So, for this wire, if I want to write, so this angle will be how much? 45 degree. And again this angle from another end of the wire, that will be again how much? 45 degree, right? So theta 1 and theta 2 is how much? Theta 1 equals to theta 2, that is equals to 45 degree. So from here can I say that this term will become how much? 0. E parallel due to all of them and E perpendicular only will be there. So E1 will be how much? That will be equals to k lambda. Lambda was lambda only. So k lambda by d sine 45 plus sine 45, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. So that will be how much? Root 2. Yes or no? Everyone. Similarly, if I want to write, so similarly, if I want to write for second one, so hmm, and k lambda by, okay, d is how much? Here if I want to write d, so this length will be how much? L by 2. So this can I write as d is equals to L by 2. So it will be equals to k lambda by L by 2. So it will become how much? 2 root 2. Right. Now similarly if I want to write E2, so E2 will be just only what we have to change is lambda, value of lambda. So E2 is we have 4 lambda. So we can write 4 2 ja 8. So k lambda by L into 8 root 2, right? Which direction of course we have to write. So due to this sign it will be in upward direction. This will be E1. This is E2. Similarly, we can write E3. So again positive charge, so in this direction. So if as given x-axis and y-axis, so this is along I cap and this is along j cap, right? Now E3, so due to 2k, 2 lambda, so it will be equals to k lambda by L into 4 root 2. Just we have to put the value of lambda and then simplify. So again it is in which direction? So it is in minus I cap, right? Similarly E4, that will be equals to how much? Now lambda is how much? Minus 3 lambda. So minus means it is in upward direction only. So k lambda by L and lambda is 3. So 3 to the 6 root 2. Direction is sorry j cap, right? And then add all of them. Simple. Clear to all of you? So here all the four segments are having angle as theta 1 and theta 2 and D will be how much? L by 2. So can I say that E perpendicular, that will be equals to k lambda by D sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2. Similarly E parallel, that will be equals to k lambda by D cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Since theta 1 and theta 2 are equal, so E perpendicular will be how much? Sorry, E parallel will be how much? 0. Simple. Now find electric field due to all the components E1, E2, E3 and E4. So due to this one, they have considered this one as E1. So k lambda by L sine theta 1 plus sine theta 2. So it will be 2 root 2 k lambda by L towards right direction. So I cap. Now second E2. So that will be 3 lambda 3k lambda by L2, means this they have considered as second wire. So that will be again it will be how much? 6 root 2 k lambda by L j cap. E3 due to this one, so minus 2k lambda L by 2 y minus sign, it is in leftward direction, right? So minus I cap. Similarly E4 and then add them, that is our net electric field. Hope it is clear to all of you, right? Now next let us solve one more question. So question is we have a charge q of mass m is placed at a distance r1 from an infinitely long uniformly charged wire. So what will be the velocity of the charge at a distance r2 from the wire? Take initial velocity of the charge is 0. So here we had one charge, u was how much? 0. Here now how much is the velocity? Now again this question we can solve by two methods. One method is when we study electric potential energy. So by using electric potential energy we can solve in very simple terms. But now here we don't know electric potential energy for the time being. So we will try to solve by force method, right? So here can I say that force experienced by the charge, let us change the color of pen so that it should be, so let us say that, so let us say that force experienced by charge, that is how much? What is our approach? What we are doing? We are trying to first find the force, then from force we can find acceleration, from acceleration we can find velocity. Simple, right? Displacement is given, so by force experienced by the charge, that I can write as F equals to q times E. So Q, now E will be how much? Now here we don't take R1 and R2, we consider one random point when particle was at a distance of x. So E will be how much? So it will be, now we have infinite wire, so it will be equals to 2k lambda divided by x. Right? This is the force experienced by this charged particle. Now can I write force is nothing but mass times acceleration. So acceleration will be equals to force by mass, so it will be equals to q by m into 2k lambda by x. Yes or no? Now we know that acceleration we can write as acceleration is equals to dv by dt, but here time is not given, so we want to write it in different terms. So we know that it displacement is given, so we can write it as v dv by dx, right? So we can write a will be equals to v dv by dx, so that will be equals to q by m into 2k lambda by x. Now x we can move on right side and we can do the integration, right? So we have v dv, so that will be equals to q by m into 2k lambda by x dx, and do the integration both side. Here from initial velocity was how much? 0. Finally let us say v. Here displacement initial was how much? r1. Final is r2. So from here now can I say v dv will be how much? V square by 2. So that will be equals to 2k q lambda by m. These are constant, so we can write it as it is. Now 1 by x dx integration will be how much? Ln x, right? So ln x from where to where? From x1 to, sorry, r1 to r2, right? So this we can write it as v square by 2, so 2 can go on right side, so v will be equals to root under of 4k q lambda by m ln r2 minus r1. This we can write as r2 by r1. Hope it is clear to all of you. Yes or no? Now, good question. So, simple force we can write as q into e, and we can put the values and then we can simplify. Why I have given this typed format? So that it looks good, and first we will solve step by step, and then same thing is given in this printed format. Okay, so let us move forward. Let us solve one more question. Question is, calculate the electric field due to uniformly charged rod of length L at a point P at a distance R from one end of the rod as shown in the figure. Assume the total charge on the rod to be Q. So we have one rod having length L and charge is Q, and we want to write electric field at this point P, which is at a distance R from one end. So here let us say that the charge density was lambda, and can I say that lambda will be equals to total charge by total length, right? So now consider one small element. So what we do is we take one small element. Now this element is at a distance x from point P. So this element is at a distance x from point P, and this element's thickness we consider as dx. Okay. So can I say that dq due to this element dq, that will be equals to how much? Lambda times dx. So this we can write as q by L times dx, right? Now due to this element can I write dE, means due to this small element electric field at point P is how much? So dE, that will be equals to kq k dq divided by x square. So this we can write as k dq is how much? Q by L into dx. So k dq into x square. Yes or no? So now to find electric field, what we have to do? Electric field will be integration of dE. Now when we do integration, what should be our limit? So limit is when we are moving from this charge point P. So at distance R, the rod or charge started, and it was continued up to how much? It will be up to R plus L, right? So limit should be from where to where? From R to R plus L, right? So we can put the values. It will be equals to how much? K Q by L. Now integration of dx by x square from R to R plus L. So now we can write it as, let us write here. So we can write E will be equals to K Q by L. integration of 1 by x square is how much? Minus 1 by x, right? So it will be equals to minus 1 by x from r to r plus L, right? So this will be equals to k q by L into 1 by r minus 1 by r plus L. So this is our electric field at point P. Means we can say this formula is when we have to find electric field along the length of the rod, right? Okay. So let us move forward. So this is rod, and we consider one a small, infinitely small element. Due to that element, we can write these k. They have written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. This is nothing but k only, right? So k dq by x square, and then we can simplify. Final answer is same only, right? Easy. Now next is electric field lines. Now, this part we can say electric field is almost complete. The electric field due to continuous charge bodies, most of the parts we have covered. Now, next part is electric field lines, and then we are moving towards Gauss law, and then we will see again electric field due to hollow sphere, solid sphere by using Gauss law. That will be easier. Okay, if you want to solve by this method, that is also okay, but it will be very lengthy, so we will prefer Gauss law. Okay. So now next is electric field lines and their properties. So let us continue, and you can expect one question on these electric field lines, their properties directly in JE. Very simple question they ask. They will give you diagram and they ask questions. So very important. So what is electric field lines? So electric field in a region can be graphically represented or mapped by drawing certain curves known as lines of electric force or electric field. Suppose there is one charge particle plus. Now can I say that electric field will be in this direction, radially outward direction due to this electric field, right? So we can draw these lines. Now in reality, if such particle is there, there is no lines around the charge particle, right? But we consider these are what? Imaginary lines that represents the direction of electric field at that point. Suppose these are lines. So here now what will be the direction of electric field? It will be along the electric field line. Simple. So an electric field line is an imaginary line or curve drawn through a region of a space such that the tangent at any point on the electric field line gives the direction of resultant electric field there. So suppose here we have two charge particles, plus charge, minus charge. So we will see the properties. From plus charge, electric field lines originate, at minus charge it terminates. So if I draw, the graph will be like this. So at this point, if I want to find electric field, just draw the tangent on the electric field line, and that tangent's direction will be the direction of net electric field. Now if you want to check, you can check here. Suppose at this point, so electric field lines will be in this direction, right? Due to this plus charge, electric field will be in this direction, right? And sorry, away na, so sorry. So it will be in this direction. Let us say E due to plus charge. Now due to minus charge, electric field line will be in this direction due to E minus. Now their resultant should be in this direction. See. Similarly, at any point if you want, you can check direction of electric field will be along the tangent of the electric field lines. Okay. Now let us see properties of electric field lines. So property 1 and 2. So electric field lines always begin on a positive charge and end on the negative charge, or we can say in simple terms, electric field lines originate from positive charge and terminate on the negative charge. Okay, and the direction will be, if we have isolated charge, these are isolated, not nearby. So in that case, it will be for positive charge, it will be radially outward. For negative charge, it is radially inward. Okay. Now, next is second property. So that is tangent at any point on the electric field line gives the direction of the net electric field at that point. So if I want to find electric field here, draw tangent. Right? At this point, draw tangent. And the direction is here in this direction. So we will draw tangent accordingly. Now, the force on a charge at that point will be along the direction of the tangent as well. We know that direction of force is what? Force is Q times E. So if we have positive charge, direction of force will be in the same direction as direction of electric field, and we can write. Simple. Next, property number 3 and 4. So property number 3 says that electric field lines always represent net electric field. So if I want to draw tangent, so here E is not electric field due to first or second charge. It is electric field in the region due to all the charges present, net electric field. So like this, right? Next is two electric field lines never intersect. Just now we said that at any point tangent on this line, electric field line, that will give us what? Direction of net electric field. So if they intersect, if two lines intersect each other like here, let us say this was line 1, this is line 2. So if they intersect, so here if we draw tangent, we will have two tangents, right? So it means that if they are intersecting, then electric field will have two direction at a point, but net electric field should be in only one direction, right? So two electric field lines never intersect because intersection point, it predicts two possible direction for the net electric field, which is not possible. So they never intersect each other. Simple, clear? Next property 5, it is the electric field intensity at a point is directly proportional to the density of the electric field lines in that region. So here now suppose we consider two points, point A and point B. So if I consider density of electric field lines, so here if I consider one small area, so three lines we are taking. Here if I take one same area, it will be maximum two lines, right? So can I say that at point A, electric field lines are density is more, they are closely packed. At point B, they are separated bit. So electric field at A will be more compared to electric field at B. So they can give you diagram like this, and they will ask you at which point electric field, like this one question was like this. They had given one diagram. These are electric field lines. This is point A and this is point B. And they will ask you where is electric field more. So can I say that E at A will be more than E at B because electric field lines are having more density at A compared to B, right? Now, next property 6, that is electric field lines never form a closed loop, as a line can never start and end on the same charge, right? So if it forms closed loop, that means suppose there is one charge, so from here line started and then it terminates also on the same charge, which is not possible. From positive charge line originate and at negative charge they terminate, right? Simple. Now next property number 7, it is very important. On this also they have asked so many times lot of questions. So number of electric field lines originating or terminating, that will be proportional to magnitude of charge. So or we can say that electric field lines charge will be proportional to n. N is number of electric field lines. So suppose here this is 1 coulomb and this is 2 coulomb. So here we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So total 8 numbers. So if I want to draw for 2 coulomb, we have to draw 16 lines. So let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? So sometimes what they do is they will give you two charges Q1 and Q2 and number of electric field lines will be given and they will ask you find the ratio Q1 by Q2. So can I say Q1 by Q2 will be equals to N1 by N2. Just count the number of electric field lines and take the ratio. That will be what? Number of ratio of charge. Simple. Next. So what can be interpreted about the nature of charge and their magnitude from the electric field lines diagram shown below. So from this diagram, if I want to predict what is a charge, so here now if I see for Q1, all these electric field lines are moving away or originating. So can I say Q1 is our positive charge? Yes or no? Now for Q2, if you say all these lines are terminating, so can I say Q2 will be what? negative, right? Now, if I want to write magnitude of Q1 by Q2, so that will be, let us count the numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 for Q1, and Q2 will be how much? Let us count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10. So 12 by 10, right? So from here now, can I say that Q1 by Q2? So if you simplify, 5 to the 10, so 6. So we can say that 5 times Q1, that will be equals to 6 times of Q2. Simple. Yes or no? Everyone? Or we can say that magnitude of Q1, that will be greater than magnitude of Q2, right? So Q1 is positive charge and Q2 is negative charge, and magnitude of Q1 will be higher than magnitude of Q2. Why? Because number of field lines N1 is greater than N2, right? Next, property number 8. So property number 8 again is very important. It says that in a uniform electric field, the electric field lines are straight, parallel, and uniformly spaced. So if I want to draw uniform field lines, so all the electric field lines, they should be parallel to each other, and separation between them, this is, let us say, D, then this should also be D. Next also should be D only. So their separation should be same and they all should be parallel. Then we say it is uniform electric field. Otherwise it is non-uniform. Like in this case, they are not equally spaced. So this is example of what? Non-uniform electric field. Right? So this is all from this class. So next class will continue. So thank you everyone. Bye bye.